Welcome, modern day mystics, fellow truth seekers. James and Justin back again with another reaction, and this is Good Friday edition. Why do they call it Good Friday? Well, maybe this video that we're going to react to might explain some of that. We're going into the archive bin, folks. This is one from my childhood, your childhood, and until today, I actually didn't even know there was a music video for it. Yeah. It's called Watch the Lamb, and it's done by Ray Boltz. It's probably been performed by every Sunday school across America and Canada.
Definitely brings back memories of Easter pageants and some dramatic acting by youngsters.
Yeah, so we're not going to stop it, just so anyone, if you're new to this, you can get the full effect. If you can somehow try to, pull yourself out and ignore the fact that it was done in the 80s and just, enjoy it that way. Hopefully you'll like this one. And after, we'll talk about it and some of our experiences maybe. So anyway, let's get into it.
Walking on the road to Jerusalem, the time had come to sacrifice again. My two small sons, they walked beside me on the road. The reason that they came was to watch the Lamb. Daddy, Daddy, what will we see there? There's so much that we don't understand. So I told them of Moses and Father Abraham. And then I said, dear children, watch the Lamb. There will be so many in Jerusalem today. We must be sure the Lamb doesn't run away. And I told them of Moses and Father Abraham. And then I said, dear children, watch the Lamb. When we reached the city, I knew something must be wrong. There were no joyful worshipers, no joyful worship songs. I stood there with my children in the midst of angry men. Then I heard the crowd cry out, to play in this drama, a part I did not wish to play. Why upon this day were men condemned to die? Why were we standing here where soon they would pass by? I looked and said, even now they come. The first one cried for mercy, the people gave him none. The second one was violent, he was arrogant and loud. I still can hear his angry voice screaming at the crowd. Then someone said, there's Jesus. I scarce believe my eyes. A man so badly beaten, he barely looked alive. poured from his body, from the thorns upon his brow, running down the cross, falling to the ground. I watched him as he struggled. I watched him as he fell. The cross came down upon his back. The crowd began to yell. In that moment, I felt such agony. In that moment, I felt such loss. Until a Roman soldier grabbed my arm and screamed, "You carry his cross." At first, I tried to resist him. Then his hand reached for his sword. And so I knelt and took the cross from the Lord. I placed it on my shoulder and started down the street. The blood that he'd been shedding was running down my cheek. They led us to Golgotha. They drove nails deep in his feet and hands. And yet upon the cross I heard him pray, "Father, forgive them." Oh, never have I seen such love in any other eyes. Into thy hands I commit my spirit, he prayed, and then he died. I stood for what seemed like years. I'd lost all sense of time, until I felt two tiny hands holding tight to mine. My children stood there weeping. I heard the oldest say, "Father, please forgive us." The lamb ran away. Daddy, Daddy, what have we seen here? There's so much that we don't understand. So I took them in my arms, and we turned and faced the cross. Then I said, "Dear children, watch the Lamb."
Gets you in all the feely spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Brings back a lot of memories, you know. I was pretty little when we acted that play out
Yeah.
in front of the church, and I was one of the kids, I think, that was supposed to be watching the lamb.
Yeah, I feel like I played every part in that play over the years because
Yeah.
it was so good. It was one of those ones they like recycled every year. They would do it at our church because people loved it so much, and I think it just for presenting a message, it does a very good job of just presenting the story in a way that captures people.
Is that canon, the guy carrying the cross? I always wondered about that when I was younger. Like, was there actually a guy that had to carry Jesus'
I think
cross?
there's a guy. Please write in the comments if you remember the guy's name. For some reason, the name Samuel rings a bell, but I can't remember exactly. But yeah, interesting perspective. And it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. My hope is that people from all different types of walks of life could watch something like that and appreciate it for what it is, and let it mean something to you in your own way. I opened with saying, what's so good about Friday, and a story like this might mean something, I don't know, personal to you or to me. But I don't know. For me, the idea, to me, it speaks to forgiveness, because the whole idea of the cross revolves around forgiveness, and a lot of people have their ideas on like who's forgiven and what's forgiven, and I've got my own personal understanding that I take away from God. I think that we're all forgiven at the end of the day. That no matter where you are, I think when you say your final goodbye in this life, that you'll be forgiven for all the things that you've done.
Well, look at who Jesus is supposed to be representing, and what was his attitude to the very people crucifying him. Forgive them, Father. That was his attitude.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's sometimes that's if you count yourself privileged and count yourself pretty grateful if you're at a point in your life where you can look around and say, I forgive even the perpetrators of things in my life.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lofty position, because pain can be pretty bad sometimes, and it's hard to forgive sometimes. Yeah.
Another portion of the story that always stuck out to me, and I forget if this is called the Passion or whatever. One of the parts of the story that always stuck out to me was when they were like accusing him, and he never said anything. He never
didn't defend himself.
He didn't defend himself, and that always stuck out to me as like a hallmark of like, wow, that's like. Think about the petty stuff that we get all caught up with when we try to defend ourselves about the little things.
It's embarrassing.
I know. When you think about it, and he had his life on the line, and he was like,
think of what was going on during that scene. Pilate was like, pretty much saying to him, defend yourself. Now's your opportunity to say something. And he held his peace. Yep. And then, sometimes nobody's even asking you to defend yourself, and you're defending yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like a true human.
Yeah. But man, on a lighter note, I thought about like kind of like some of the funny things that used to happen during these pageants. Some of these pageants were hilarious, man. And please write your hilarious pageant comments. I want to hear them in the comments. I remember like one guy, because we used to have to like fake nail Jesus's hands in, and one guy like knocked the cross right over. I saw one guy, the part where the guy falls, like this was probably in another play, the cross tipped over and hit the guard so hard across the face. I think he was bleeding. Oh. It was but he held it together, man. He pulled it through in that play.
Everybody was troopers, and there might have been some laughter when those things happened, but a lot of times there'd be some sniffling and crying in the audience.
Oh yeah.
Because people took it seriously, and they would act it out, and the robbers would get so intense about their screaming and the people screaming crucify him. Like as the song's playing, I have such a memory of that. I even remember the butterflies before the big show,
Yeah, it was like lights, stage action.
And the guy that was playing the dad, like I was the kid, and he was like actually taking on a dad role. Like, come on, you got the little toy lamb or whatever.
Oh yeah, and God bless all the people that helped out to make these plays run as we were kids, because like we were hooligans as children. We would make
How did we do it?
We would make them cry during because we'd have to have rehearsals and practices, and we were like so bad during the practices, but then like when the day came, we all pulled it together to make it work. But anyway, I think we've said enough on this one. Happy Good Friday, everyone.
Happy Good Friday.
What you say. But hopefully you guys liked our reaction on this classic. And if you did, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everyone, until next time, stay spiritual.